In Major League Baseball, how does Juan Soto signing with the Mets affect the National League? All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. So, like I mentioned before, man, this happened like literally after we hit end stream last week. Was stated there that, again, I didn't think we would see something this soon after Shohei Ohtani $700 million contract was dealt out, that we would see another offseason where somebody else would get a $700+ million contract, AJ.
It's true. And I think the funny part is it is worth over $700 million, but these are much different contracts as far as values, especially per season.
Yes. So this is a 15-year, $765 million contract with the Mets.
Correct. And 765 over 15 comes out to what? 51 a year?
51 million a year. Yeah.
Where, remind me again what Ohtani's contract is?
$2 million a year.
$2 million a year.
68 million deferred.
68 million a year deferred, but that comes out to a 70 million a year.
70 million a year, yeah. 10-year contract versus 15 does make a difference there for sure. This is making it the largest contract in American professional sports history.
Largest and longest, right?
And longest, yes.
Yeah.
And it came with a $75 million signing bonus and a suite to every home game, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yes, we got to talk about this.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. My first question I got to ask you when it comes to this is, first of all, was this contract worth it? Is Juan Soto worth that? Can we just quickly touch on that before we jump into what we actually want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a great point. I mean, this is kind of the question I think that every single Mets fan has got to be asking themselves, right? Yeah, you wanted Juan Soto on your team. The dude's a great hitter. Is he a great defensive player? No, I think he's -4 in plus-minus wins on average, for what he adds as far as a defensive player. So it's not like he's doing that much on the defensive side of the ball. He's obviously a great hitter. You've obviously got some other tools on this team as far as Francisco Lindor. You've got Starling Marte. You've got a great catcher in Francisco Alvarez. Mm-hmm. So you've got some great players on this Mets team that it makes them a lot better as far as an offensive team that puts you in the running question mark.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But I really think that Mets fans are more excited about the fact that they beat Big Brother and getting this guy.
But did you though? But did they beat Big Brother? Because the fact is it's not like the Yankees didn't have the money to pay Soto. They just weren't going to pay him what he was asking.
Yeah, I don't think that they actually went back to it. I think that, again, to your point, I think the Yankees did have this basically 760 over 16 years.
Correct.
So it was like, there's only $5 million. No, it's a $55 million difference.
Correct.
Contract.
Yeah.
The Yankees wanted to stretch it out one more year to bring that AAV down so they could still operate. And Mr. Uncle Steve, baseball owner, says, hold my beer. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're getting them. Let me ask you this. When it comes to that, does this affect the National League power structure at all? Does this move the needle for the Mets?
So let's just go over the teams that realistically really run the National League. Okay. You got the Dodgers, who are World Series champions.
Go Dodgers.
They continue to add to their roster. They're going to be better. The chances are they probably sign Sasaki. They add one more really strong pitching. Does this make them better than the Dodgers? The answer is absolutely no. No, they're just not. Adding Soto's not better than Ohtani. There's no 3 hitters in a row on their roster that are better than the top 3 for the Dodgers. They're not better. Yeah, they're not better than the Dodgers. The Padres, you've got crazy good hitters all the way through the Padres.
Yeah,
they were
Machado.
Yeah, I mean, they were the scariest team coming out of the National League.
Yeah.
And even as a Dodgers fan, you did not want to see the Padres in the second round.
I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that the fact that the Dodgers had the best record in baseball and they drew the hottest team in baseball and played in the playoffs. And they were down 2-1.
So are they better than the Padres? No, they're not. They are not scarier than the Padres, especially if the Padres return even 70% of their lineup from last year.
They have pitching, man. They're better.
The Padres are so good at pitching.
Dylan Cease, Darvish, Musgrove will be back next year, I think. So you can't compete with that, man.
The next 2 big teams in the National League are obviously Braves, Phillies. I'm a Braves fan. I don't think that this roster is better than the Braves, but the Braves they've got to make some moves this year. I'm
They just
curious
need
to
to get
see
healthy,
what the
man.
Braves do. They need to get healthy. And the thing is they're not going to be healthy to start the season. Spencer Strider's still going to be out. Acuna is still going to be out to start the season. They're going to be, it's going to be 30 days in before you get both of those players back. And that's huge. But are they better than the Braves? Maybe they're even with the Braves. Are they better than the Phillies? Maybe they're even with the Phillies. So did signing Juan Soto to the longest, biggest contract in MLB history turn them into contenders? No, it didn't.
Yeah, they had a pretty. I don't know how they got past the Phillies this year. To be honest with you,
They needed a little too much to make it to the playoffs this year. Is what it was.
They're gassed, man.
Yeah,
I just really think they're gassed. And I think if that team operated last year, there's no way the Phillies lose to the Mets. Now with Juan Soto there, can the Phillies lose to the Mets? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
But are they destined to lose to the Mets? No,
not at all.
No, Juan Soto doesn't change it that far.
Yeah, man, I'd have to agree with you, man. This is a great first move by the Mets to put themselves in a position to be a contender. But does this make them? No, they're not gonna. They're not on the scale of the Dodgers. Not even close. I definitely agree with you. They're not on the scale of the Padres. Could you argue the Braves? Maybe, because we don't really know what the Braves look like. Even for this season, we didn't.
You could only argue the Braves right now without knowing what moves they're going to make.
Yeah,
and in the offseason.
Phillies, I think, is kind of a push. So I think you're spot on that one, man. So I don't know. So we'd love to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about the Soto signing here. Let's talk about, before we do that, let's talk about Sweetgate, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you tell them about this?
Absolutely. So Juan Soto, the whole deal on his contract, and he went straight back to the Yankees and said, look, I'm interested in coming back to the Yankees, but I want a suite for my family and friends to every single home game for the life of my contract. And the Yankees pretty much came back and said, no thanks. Like, we have Aaron Judge and who else?
Jeter.
And Derek Jeter. Okay. Both of them have suites, but they pay their own money for their suites for their team. And Soto wanted to include it in his contract. And they just said, yeah, no, we're not interested.
Did you hear how much that suite is worth for a year?
I didn't.
$50,000.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. $50,000.
That's it?
And that was Juan Soto's fix for having family issues with security. Security kept getting him, wouldn't let his chef in, or wouldn't let his father or one of his parents in. Made them stay outside in the rain because the security didn't know who they were. So they
$50,000.
So he's talking about, okay, well, if a suite, then I have a suite pass, then this will take care of that problem.
Right.
Yeah, it's worth $50,000 a year for that suite for the home games. So yeah,
that doesn't seem like that much.
No, but when you look at it this way, Aaron Judge is paying for him. His Derek Jeter paid for his. So why would Juan Soto? Because he's freaking Juan Soto. He's the Ted Williams of this generation, the greatest hitter in this generation. You had a chance to sign him, and you screwed it up.
Yeah,
you absolutely screwed it up, Yankees. And I don't know. In my opinion, Cashman should be gone. I don't think he's a good manager. I know he's been around since the 90s. I think he thinks the brand is more important than it is. The Yankees of old are not the Yankees of now.
Correct.
These are not a repeat World Series champions. Yes, they made it to the World Series for the first time since 2009, but they
got embarrassed in that World Series.
Yeah, they lost in 5 games to a superior team. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just think it's really funny. I think the term, Sweetgate is kind of funny.
That is really funny. Actually.
That's one of the deciding factors that he had, was the fact that the suite. Ohtani has a suite, by the way.
Yeah,
in his contract. The Dodgers didn't screw that one.
That's what it was. He saw Ohtani's contract and he was like, I better get a suite.
Exactly.
I'm not getting Ohtani got a suite.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. Once again, folks, we did hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. So if you're not yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're giving away the first $500 that we earned in AdSense revenue back to y'all. So please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on that giveaway, and smash that like button for your boy AJ.
Boom, do it. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio. Make sure you check it out, rate it, review it. We appreciate all your guys' engagement on them.
Make sure you guys check out our merch store. We got all these hats, hoodies, and other stuff in the merch store. Be sure to check that out. Let us know if you'd like to see something specific. We'll put that together and get it in our merch store as well. With all that said, my name is Darren. That is AJ, and this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.